Welcome to week 5 of the XFL, the halfway point of the season. You are probably watching the NCAA tournament, aka basketball, between children who, unlike the XFL, have to watch what they say into a microphone.
Yeah, I've been trying to pull this shit since day one. Oh.
That's all right. It's all right. It happens to all of us. We're on True TV, man.
I've been trying to pull this since day one.
Not a problem here in the XFL.
Terp. Ah, fuck. I already got.
I will say that's probably the most earnest use of the word shit I've ever seen.
I've been trying to pull this shit since day one. Oh.
That's all right.
This week, though, in XFL ball, we had a massive upset, a shootout for the ages between two of the league's worst teams, and a running back hit that century mark twice. Or as I call him, the bicentennial man of the XFL.
I feel a responsibility to help you become whatever you're able to be.
Sorry, I used that clip last week and I just can't stop. Whew, that's good. Sports! Hey, if you love stuff, subscribe here. Today's episode is sponsored by Manscape.com/GoodSports. Manscaped just dropped their brand new Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear hair trimmer. And you're getting a sneak peek here on That's Good Sports. The timing of this is rather hilarious because about a week or two ago I realized I am now growing ear hair. Ear hair! Which my stock photo wife really loved helping me trim. Luckily, I just got the new and revamped Weed Whacker 2.0. It has a 7,000 RPM motor, improved steel blade system, and an upgraded cutting performance. It's cordless, and the battery will last up to 45 minutes. If it takes you longer than 45 minutes to trim your nose and ear hair, you may have a serious medical condition. The Weed Whacker 2.0 comes in Manscaped's tool sets, the Platinum and Performance packages. So use my link below, go to manscaped.com/goodsports to get 20% off and free international shipping, and join the 8 million dudes already using Manscaped. Defenders and battlehawks. There's a new king in the XFL, and it's the Defenders of Washington. Washington is now a monarchy, is what I'm saying, led by King D'Eric, who has scored a rushing touchdown in 4 of 5 games. Yeah, D'Eric added another tud in this one. The Defenders firmly plant themselves atop the XFL power rankings with the most reliable rushing attack in the league. And their hero this week in a decisive win against the Battlehawks was my best individual performer, running back Abram Smith. Abram had the best game of any spring ball player since the birth and death of the AAF in 2019. I think there had only been one 100-yard rusher all season in the XFL, and that was the Dragons' Morgan Ellison. Well, Abram Smith doubled that and launched his 218-yard, 3 TD performance with this 62-yard rip in the second quarter. He followed that with a 70-yard touchdown run and my best announcer call of the weekend.
7 from the 30, back to Smith. That hole opens up, makes a man look silly. Abram Smith, how about it? Another huge run, and he's in the end zone.
With that call barely edging out this on the A.J. McCarron TD pass to George Campbell.
McCarron, touchdown!
My best Berman whoop goes to Darius Shepard on this kick return, nearly taking it the distance, but whooping the hell out of Anthola Kelly on the sideline. Missed scoring opportunities was a big reason they lost, and the Defenders quietly had 5 sacks on A.J. McCarron on the day. Contrastly, the Battlehawks only have 5 sacks all season. Credit the Battlehawks, who could have been blown out, for fighting back, and A.J. McCarron delivering my best throw of the week. Down 16 with 4.5 minutes in the fourth. He hits this 50-yard dagger to Steven, 2 first names, Mitchell Jr. for a fourth quarter TD. The live shot of this was from the Skycam angle, which really gave this throw the cinematic hype it deserved. AJ delivered a strike to two names for the two-pointer to cut the lead to 8. Sadly, AJ also gets my worst throw of the week. McCarron appeared ready to lead another comeback win, converting a 4th and long after taking a bad sack on 3rd down. He moved the chains again, had momentum on his side, and for no reason makes this dinucci-like pass down the sideline, setting up an all-too-easy pick for the best ball hawk in the XFL, Michael. I also have 2 first names, Joseph. And now the Defenders are the only undefeated team in the league. Dragons versus Roughnecks. Worst upset of the week, which goes to the Seattle dinuccis. This game occurred all the way back on Thursday when we were still thinking the Jets and Packers would get their shit together and agree to terms for an Aaron Rodgers trade. Honestly, they might finish that trade by the time we're watching the 4th reboot of the XFL. Owned and operated by Roman Reigns and the Bella Twins. It all started with my best arrabbiata run, cause it's a spicy meatball by the Ben dinucci. 20 yards to pay dirt for the nooch. The funniest part of this TD is he had Damian Willis wide open right here. But the nooch said, what are you talking about? A well as a block for me. I'm a the bucatini fettuccine tagliatelle of QBs. He likes pasta because he's Italian. Best sack goes to Antoine Brooks, who atop the second quarter strip sacks Brandon Silvers down to bronze, ending what would have most likely been a touchdown drive for the Roughnecks. That was quickly followed by my worst near-death experience for the nooch. He gets obliterated by Jordan Mosley on the throw, causing a wobbler to get picked by Sean Davis. The Roughnecks had 3 picks, Sapa Danucci's Dente Arma, and still lost. Now, probably because they couldn't really run the ball. Max Borghi was back in the lineup, but averaged just 2 yards per carry, which is actually really impressive considering this is all the work he had to do just for a no gain. Now, the Dragons' defense has been pretty solid most of the season, and I don't want to downplay their achievement, handing the Roughnecks their first loss. Okay, their defense led the charge, but I have to give Houston the I'm not mad, I'm disappointed in your offense award. Brandon Silvers has been one of the most effective passers in the XFL, but Seattle held him to just 4.8 yards per attempt as he completed just over 50% of his passes. Somehow, with 3 picks, Dinucci was better than that. The Dragons put together a perfect 2-minute drive right before halftime. Dinucci diced up on a Roughnecks like Emerald Lagasse on a Fusilli Jerry fever dream, finding Damian Willis this time for the touchdown and a 15-0 lead with the best floating pass of not just the week, but maybe of any and all football history on this 3-point play. If the Dragons stop making mistakes on offense, getting out of their own way, they could be the best team. Their special teams blocked a punt in the 3rd quarter, setting up the Dragons offense in the red zone, or as a Dinucci calls it, the interception zone. Now, the 4th quarter of this game was stupid. Sacks, fumbles, missed plays, but all those mistakes did make it interesting at the end. A questionable PI finally broke the shutout with a 1-yard Max Borghi TD. And my worst repeat of myself every week at Dinucci, with the game on the line, he throws a terrible interception. He and the receiver were clearly not on the same page, but no excuse for esa limpa pasta. Luckily, the Dragons defense bailed out the nooch for the 2nd week in a row, stopping the Roughnecks on 4th down. Darius Bradwell, on just his 10th rush of the season, gave the Dragons the death knell touchdown. Or was it? I say that, but Houston nearly completed a miraculous comeback with a little over a minute in the game. The Necks scored a touchdown, converted a 4th and 15 onside attempt, were in prime position to tie or take a soul-crushing lead before a best finishing play by Elijah Ponder a victory strips the ball from Silvers, and it pops into Nico Lelos' hands for the game-sealing pick. My best avoider of being a bottom feeder, the Las Vegas Vipers beating the Guardians. The battle of the only defeated Guardians and Vipers resulted in a classic shootout, earning my best game of the week. Sadly, my man, Paxton Lynch, was benched in the game or got hurt. Hard to tell if you missed the live game, honestly. The Guardians actually put Quentin Dormady into the lineup as he was reinstated by the league after he was accused of cheating, selling plays to Guardians opponents, and he could have had the best quarterback of the week award. Instead, I'm going to give him my Benchwarmer Brew Bench Player of the Week honors. BenchwarmerBrew.com is where I sell my coffee. Really good coffee. Follow me on Twitter, Quentin, and I will send you a bag of the Loser's Blend. Or whatever you choose. Now, Dormady only missed on 3 passes. He was 22 of 25, some real Drew Brees type shit. He averaged 10.2 yards per pass, the most by any QB in a game this season, and fired 2 TD passes. The Guardians also had a couple rushing TDs to match. The crazy thing about this game, especially considering it was between the 2 worst teams in the XFL, was that there were 0 interceptions and just 1 fumble that resulted in a turnover. It was a clean game. Vipers quarterback Brett Hundley did not play due to a hamstring injury, so in a way, Luis Perez should technically get my Benchwarmer Brew Benchwarmer Player Award, but he lands the Best QB of the Week award. Perez, like Dormady opposite of him, was on target, going 20 of 28 for 269 and 3 touchdowns. 269s, but 3 scores? That's some Kama Sutra level efficiency, Perez. Perez also never turned the ball over in this game, and he was sacked 0 times on the day. So my takeaway is both the Guardians and the Vipers' defenses, not good. But their offenses can perform if and only if playing against terrible defenses. Ultimately, this was a great game, not just for these 2 teams, but for the XFL as an upcoming league. You have your 2 worst teams in the standings, and they put on a show, combining for 67 points in a game between 2 teams that will most likely miss the playoffs. This was an entertaining product that I'm sure very few people watched. Again, because unfortunately, March Madness was going on the time. Madness to me? Well, that's not watching football. Worst game, Renegades, Brahmas. Although this did have my best hit of the week. It's the deepest, most untouched blitz I've ever seen. That's Jack Kerner making Kyle Sloter wish he stayed in the USFL. Also, Kerner is spelled Koerner, so his new nickname is Jack Corner, because all he does is hand out death certificates. Speaking of dead, that's what both teams' offenses were in this game. My worst QBs? Yes, all of them. It's never fun to watch football when you have 3 different quarterbacks play and they can't even combine for 300 passing yards. 4 picks and 1 TD between Kyle Sloter of the Renegades and Jack Cohn and Reed Sinnett of the Brahmas. I told the Brahmas it was time to make a switch at QB, and they listened. Sinnett was actually playing pretty well, throwing a touchdown and a dime to the corner of the end zone for the point after. But a goal line pick, a bad goal line pick, plus a rolled ankle ended his day, and Jack Cohn, a silence, returned, leading the team to a very quiet 0 points in their loss. Worst playmakers? Sorry to all of the skill position guys, but no one in this game had 50 yards rushing or 50 yards receiving. It takes a village for a bad game to be this bad. And everyone was doing their part. Davion Smith got closest with 44 rushing yards, but even then it took him 19 carries to get there. I think both the Brahmas and the Renegades are struggling to find out what they do well. Neither team has an identity on offense yet or a guy they can lean on. I hope they both figure it out soon because it makes for better ball. My most clutch game-winning touchdown that actually happened early in the 3rd quarter goes to the Renegades, who found a different gear in the 3rd quarter. That gear? Help from the officials. In a drive that started at their own 5, Arlington moved down the field with help from illegal contact that negated a sack and a pass interference call down the sideline. After Sloter drilled a pass to tight end Sal Cannella on 3rd and 12, the Renegades were set up with goal to go, down 4 points. Late in the third quarter, Davion Smith just got over the goal line and pretty much put this game on ice, even though there was still like 16 minutes to go. Even this game-winning drive ended with a pick on the point after attempt. I guess the real dagger was a late interception, a nice interception by Shakur Brown, and it ended with a best punt. Anytime you can punt from your own 35, you have to do it, right? No faith in field goal kicking in the XFL, and the Renegades put an exclamation point on this game when Marquette King boomed a 25-yarder to seal the victory. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Week 5, recapping of the XFL. A dinucci style. Come back for more, please. I can say all that because I'm Italian, right?